see everybody, and hopefully everyone's staying safe, and please definitely stay safe and everything. But thank you for joining us. Tonight, we're going to work on this year's first annual Not Your Bubbe's Latkes, with being at Erev Hanukkah, starting tomorrow night. Again, and some people were talking earlier, and they're correct. The holiday, really, it's about cooking with oil. Of course, that's why donuts are a huge thing. Everybody loves donuts, the sugar, but because they're deep fried, certainly then latkes. But almost anything you would cook with oil can be substituted for a great item you could have on your table, for Hanukkah. So anything in oil. So oil's a good thing. The first ones that we're going to talk about a little bit is some of these aren't your traditional latkes. And with everybody's diets of these days, and some people are lactose intolerant, and some people have some issues with gluten, and some are vegan, and goes back and forth, different types of diets.
Sorry about that.
We're going to change things up a little bit to make it a little more trendy, more nowadays, more 2020s. So one of the first items we're going to talk about is doing a cauliflower turnip latke. So hopefully most of you folks have already received the recipes in your emails. I'm sure Linda sent them to everybody. But the first one, cauliflower latke. Basically, the potato is the key item in the ingredient, because the potato starch, that's the coagulant, that's pretty much what's holding it together. But by removing some of that, we're removing starches, which subsequently turn into sugars. So if someone had some diabetes issues or sugar issues or something like that, you can certainly reduce the amount of potatoes. Or if you want to just slim down for whatever reason and want to reduce your starch intake, so by removing them. So basically, I have cauliflower, turnip, and potatoes. Turnip's a great item as well, between the cauliflower. It fries well. The turnips, you'll see we're going to grate them and cook with them. They almost have a potato-like type flavor to them, and they almost look exactly like potatoes. So if you're going to make some substitutions, a little bit of turnip would give you some more of that mouth feel, and is a great substitute for the potatoes when you're removing them from a regular dish, a regular latke recipe. Then the second one we'll ultimately take a look at is a cauliflower potato. So the first one's cauliflower, turnip, and potato. Then a cauliflower potato, and last but not least, we'll get them the good old traditional latkes. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get I have some of the ingredients ready to go. We're going to start putting this together. And of course, while I'm doing this, feel free to, if you have any questions or anything, send them to Linda. I don't know if you're doing it on the chat room or out loud, I'm not sure, but however you do it, let us know. And then she'll let me know, and I'll get to, we can do a Q&A, as we're putting this together, getting ready to go.
Rich, are you recording?
So.
Rich,
He's muted.
He's muted?
I'm unmuted now. Yes, the answer is we're recording.
Okay, because it doesn't show on mine. Okay.
Yeah, it's because you're not listed as a co-host, which I'll do.
Okay.
So first thing here we're going to follow is get the cauliflower. I've kept it almost whole. That way it's easier to hold on to, kind of like hold it onto a large ball. And so for grading purposes, again, just straight down a regular grater. Just be very careful with your fingers. Most accidents around this stuff surely can fall around for people hitting their knuckles on the graters. They're a little bit kinder than they used to be. Okay. So,
Oh, wow.
we got it sideways, So what I'll do is just pick this up with my knife, lift this up, okay? So that'll take care of it. It's got a nice fine grain to it. We did it on I wouldn't say they're small, I would say medium-sized holes on the grater. So this side.
What?
Again.
Ahead of me.
And We're gonna go for our turnips. We have them here. Basically, we just wash them, clean them, and then just pre-peel them. So this way. Show it the upside. Also, what we're going to be using for this evening, I'm not sure who's on here. We have peanut oil. Certainly, vegetable oil is a good one. Canola is good, kind of heart healthy. It's a pretty good oil to use. Has a high smoking point, which is something you really need to, when you're doing something like latkes or something you're going to fry over a long period of time. I know with a lot of people, there's a big question I always get is olive oil. And olive oil, because of its lower smoking point, is not good. I've not had a lot of success with olive oil. Doing latkes and getting them like super crispy on the outside. Number one, two, and oops, I just lost that one. By using a high quality virgin olive oil, as soon as you get it very hot, almost up to high heat over 200, starts to cook, you're going to lose a lot of those properties. You're going to lose a lot of those materials. It's just the high heat kills the minerals, the vitamins, the nutrients, things like that. Also, especially some of the flavor. So that's an item I would kind of stay away from the olive oil on that one. Okay, last but not least, actually, what I'm going to do first is in order to slow down enzymatic browning, I know some people were talking about it earlier. Certainly happens oxygen called enzymatic browning. So typically, what I try to do is I'll get all my ingredients in the bowl together, get them organized. The eggs, you'll see I'll put everything together. I'm going to use a little bit of matzo meal. And then along with that, then I'm going to grate the potatoes and put them in at the very, very end. I'm going to mix them up right away. And as Linda mentioned earlier, albumin and the protein in the egg will help prevent it from turning brown.
Parsley and the chives are in the refrigerator.
Okay.
We got that.
Okay.
Chives,
Okay.
that's the chives, the parsley's on the left. Bottom? No, it's the next one.
Here.
No, keep going.
This one?
No, all the way.
Top?
No, next door,
Or next
the other
door?
side of the stove, the other side. Yeah,
Okay, here we go. Good,
Yeah.
good.
okay. It's hard working in someone else's kitchen.
And you'll see why we're good at this one. So, okay, that's in. We have a little bit of salt and pepper. At the bottom. Good.
No, yeah. Is it coming out?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll move it slightly different speeds. So since I'm not familiar with it, I'll put it in my
That's
hand.
black pepper, I have white pepper in the
Okay,
jar
that's
there.
white. Yeah, blends in
Which I
nicely.
haven't opened
The
yet,
white
but-
pepper works great. Kind of blends in nice with the color. And this is a brand new one. So we're gonna open up the plastic.
Notice he doesn't measure anything.
Now these recipes have been tested. Linda's tested every single one. They certainly all work. Yeah, I'm more. I cook more like Bubbe used to cook, and a bissel of this and a little of that. Okay, yeah, it's a build.
Mark, Meshitaran.
So then I have 3 eggs, lightly beaten. Get them in earlier, whip them up. I'm going to put this in. And then last but not least, what we're going to do is then we're going to put in our potatoes.
No parsley or chives in this one.
Parsley and chives. Should I rinse these? Yeah, let me give them a quick rinse. I get some parsley and chives, give them a quick rinse. I'll set this section now. Use it again.
Parsley's washed.
Yeah, I figured you had said. So I'm just clean off my board. Okay, so it doesn't look bad. Then see, Linda's got them in some nice cold water inside the fridge. Yeah, these babies are gonna last for like a long time. Stay nice and fresh. Yeah, these are very nice.
In fact, if they get a little wilted, they'll actually resuscitate by putting the stems in water, not the whole things, but just the stems.
So what you're gonna do is bunch it up together, get it real small with your fingers on the board, get it real small. Put it in a saw motion. And then as you come, and just take it, spin it around 180 degrees.
Really, that goes in a potato like that.
Up. Notice if you take your knife, keep it flat on the board, you can come across and help you lift things off of your board. As you keep it flat, never turn it up, always keep it flat, you can't get cut. And you can use it to help pick things up off the board, small items. Instead of putting the knife down, you can help, the knife can help you pick up these things up. In here. Yeah. And last.
Mozzarella. Mozzarella.
Mozzarella. You open it up. I think you're gonna put in some onion too.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Okay,
That would
onions.
help, yeah. That would help. That's a quarter cup. Quarter, okay. Quarter cup, and last but not least, I'm gonna grate this onion. Actually, I'm gonna do it from the whole point. Same thing. Also, too, reduces the crying time. Do it kind of toward the end. Well, those of you that have the grating attachments on your, could have some food processors. I have a small one here hooked up, so if you guys want to see them, we'll certainly be happy to put those together for you. But certainly that'll make a lot of the effort easier, less handwork. You know, if you have the time, you know, the kids are at home or something like that, you'd have them help out and do a lot of the grading stuff. They kind of enjoy doing some of the smaller tasks. I leave the frying to the big people though, with the oil, hot oil. Okay. We keep our board kind of clean, organized, so it doesn't get too bad. Lay on there. And then last but not least, we'll bring this back over. We're gonna do our potatoes.
So you don't mix this up first?
No, actually, as soon as I throw the potatoes, I'm gonna flip all the ingredients on top and mix them in.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna help.
And you're not taking the extra liquid out of the onions?
That one, not so much. These potatoes I'm gonna squeeze. The onions I didn't squeeze so much. They didn't look too bad. They didn't look too bad. Potatoes for sure, we're gonna squeeze. Okay. Okay, and I'm gonna go much lower than that, and I'm gonna have a problem with the, just gonna flip this open, rub it in a towel. That's right now. Okay, so I have a small towel. I'm just gonna dump this
Okay.
inside right now. We'll cover it over real quick. Keep the air away, because oxygen is the enemy here, is oxygen. Okay. Potato.
I, on the other hand, use a little food processor.
And we have one, if you guys want, yeah, we're gonna pick up some speed with the next couple. These we're showing you, item by hand, old school. And then we're certainly gonna move on to, we're gonna use the processors, and we'll show you how to definitely pick up a little bit of speed. with this.
A few convenience items.
Save your arm,
Bruised knuckles, skin knuckles.
yeah. That would be the holiday if it wasn't a couple of skin knuckles, right? Okay, so sit here, lift this in. Okay. Sorry, in front of the camera. Okay, so just gonna gather this up. We're gonna go to the sink. I'm gonna give it a squeeze, sink. So just take it, grab it along. You see it?
You're not saving it, huh?
No, I'm gonna keep most of the starch of this day. This is a nice step. I think a lot of that starch is gonna stay inside. If you do this, say if you use a colander or something at your home, certainly let the water collect at the base of the container and leave it sit for a while. Potato starch will settle bottom, and you can pour off the water, but certainly you can use that potato starch, that fresh potato starch that's sitting at the bottom. Okay. Okay. That's pretty dry. Okay, so since most of the water's out, ready to go, we're gonna go back into our container. I just turned the heat up on the stove. So when we get over there, we'll be ready to go. Carefully, I'm gonna put these inside. Let's see.
Okay, we lost him.
We're back.
Okay. We back?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay.
Wooden spoons
Yeah.
in the back, right there.
Perfect. Okay, so everything's in, the potatoes in, so I certainly want to get it covered, get some eggs on top of these potatoes. You see it's nice shredded, which is going to help it certainly. And again, too, when we start to fry them, you certainly want to get rid of as much moisture from steaming as possible. That gives you the best crunchy exterior, very, very soft interior, which everybody likes with latkes. So, and a spoon. Okay. Now, usually, if you pick it up, put it into a ball shape, it lets you know if it has enough. We're gonna be using these later, an ice cream scoop. It's easier to work with this. If I can get it to form into a scoop, kind of hold its shape, you can see it's pretty good. It's not too wet, it's too dry, it's gonna hold its shape nicely. It's not weeping any water. So this is looking like it's the right consistency. But we will always do, something very smart to do is I'm gonna put this in the sink and rinse the brown. See, they're actually starting to turn brown on here. What we're gonna do is put a small drop, of course, check our temperature of our oil. Then after it's going, we're gonna take a small one, put it in the pan, we're gonna cook it completely. You're gonna make it kind of flat, kind of, like a medallion. The reason for doing that is we're gonna cook it completely, taste it. And if you like it, you like the flavor, it's holding together nicely, then keep going. Certainly easier to do that and make adjustments before you commit to frying the entire batch. And then you might say, well, it needs a little more salt, or it needed a little bit more pepper, or it's a little too loose, a little too thick, or something of that nature. So it's certainly the best way to check and make sure that, it's exactly kind of where you want them, flavor-wise. Color-wise isn't a problem that we take care of on the stove, but as long as you have the consistency, nice crunchy exterior, nice soft interior, and then you finish with the mix. Let me shift this here. So the soil's been on. So I'm going to check in a second. You can see it'll start shimmering, which I can see. So what we can
Which one?
do- the big one, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you can
typically,
actually see it has looks like it's ripples in it. That's the shimmer,
that's the shimmer.
not the lights that are reflecting.
Yeah, you
but-
see it's starting to come up. So what I'm gonna do is take a small batch.
Turn that off.
Now you
Is
see
that
how
better?
it's starting to fry almost right away into the pan. So we know, okay, our temperature is pretty good. That's where we want to go. So, all right. So what I'm gonna do is bring my mix over, and you can come this way. a
Yeah,
little
I
bit.
turned the stove light off so it doesn't
Um,
interfere with what you're looking at.
Okay. I like to use an ice cream scoop. Okay. You can use a small spoon and put them out. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna screw 'em up.
Taste one first.
Yeah, I'm gonna go around with 3 or 4.
Oh.
3 or 4, I guess. These are gonna serve nice. Okay. We'll start with those real quick. Also, too, while you're waiting, what I normally do, take a little bit of saran wrap. I'll cut a small piece out the box. And I'm gonna put it on top of my mix. And that's also gonna help me kind of get some of the air out. So what I'm gonna do is put it over here, just to the side. Put this on top, push this down, all the way down.
Tuck it in.
It's literally touching the mix. Okay, so and that's gonna definitely keep air out of there for us. That's gonna slow that browning. Now you can see with the color, it's browning pretty fast. That's okay. So very carefully, just take it with your finger, turn it over. Now we're gonna go to the second one. Same thing, very carefully, flip it over. Okay, you notice, and I try to turn them away from me, not toward me. So if it does fall off my spatula or splash, it's gonna splash away from me. Good, so, where's that last one? Put that over. Okay. What I'm gonna do is push them down a little bit and get them a little bit thinner. Okay, and I'm gonna adjust my temperature a little bit on the oil.
A little hot, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit on the hot side. Which is not unusual. Usually as you start frying along, of course, the first ones are the hottest, and then it subsequently gets lower and slower as it goes. Okay. Okay. So what you could do is you could take a good look at them, and you can see they're pretty much cooked, a little bit wet still in the middle. So I'm going to give that just another minute or two. Flip them over carefully. And if you're going to hold these for later service, certainly you can pull them a little bit sooner than you would normally. Pull them out, set them to the side, and then when you reheat them, they'll come back to the right to that spot where you want them. You don't want to overcook them. So when you warm them back up, it'll get right to where you'd like them. Okay. Oops. Goes there. Okay. So what we do is you can see, we'll just let them cool off a little bit. Lated stuff. So we give them about a minute or two, let them cool, get a taste. Put it together nice, and it still has those shards that kind of stick out, like from the potato. Also, the parsnip kind of helps that part. So it kind of gives it more of like a rustic, kind of a different look. Now you can make them any shape you'd like, commercially, of course, we use the same size. You're selling them, has the exact same size. This one, any kind of this fit the arguments, you know. Remember, wasn't cooked. I'll go right near Beth Torah. Was a place.
I remember.
You've disappeared again and the sound is breaking up.
Right. We can't hear him.
We just lost Linda's.
Ah,
We just lost Linda's connection for a second. So
Oh.
hold on when she comes back in.
yeah, but I don't,
Okay, Linda, you're back.
I know I see him in the small, but,
I don't
We see
hear
him in the
him.
large. It's fine for us.
okay,
Okay.
Can you
So
see us?
I'm remuting. So for this quick break, we need to have everybody unmute because if people aren't unmute and you get background noise, it takes the picture away from Mark and sends it to you. So please, questions go into the chat and side conversations not during this session. Thank you.
Okay, I'm not sure where we cut off. But we got some Latkes here. I tasted them.
Back after they were, turned over.
Got these done. You want to taste one, Linda? To me, they could probably use a little bit more salt. I like them. I think the turnip and the cauliflower gives it a nice dimension, different flavor profile. Small pinch of salt and pepper, maybe.
definitely salt.
Definitely salt. Okay, so again, now that we're going to commit to the mix, I'll add a little bit of salt to it, and then we'll get those going. And then, of course, once I get them fried, we're going to start the second batch. But you can see we have a nice batch here, ladies and gentlemen, just following along. And we'll certainly make the 24 latkes. So what I'm going to do is back to here, and you can see this keeps the air away. And then a little bit more salt.
Rich, I don't have a big picture. Do you have any idea?
No, but we all do. So
Okay.
you're doing fine in terms of picture.
Okay.
It's much harder to work from a mini picture.
Okay. So,
I'll try and re-spotlight you again.
okay, so I'm going to take right where we want them.
Oh, yeah, side.
So we can move a little bit faster.
Ah, you came back.
Okay.
clean out the oil a little.
Okay. Flipped. Okay, so you can see this is our second batch. So again, I start right where I went first. Of course, that one's gonna be the brownest. Flip it over, flatten it a little bit. Go to your second one. Again, we're using peanut oil. And right now it's a great temperature, got a little bit hot, but 350, 375 is where you want to be temperature wise.
Rich wants to know how often you change the oil.
Actually between batches, I will probably finish this batch that I'm doing now. I have a skimmer. Actually, Linda just handed to me a nice skimmer, which I can go through and I get the chunkies pieces out of the oil, and then I'm going to continue until I finish this particular mix. Then if I were going on to a different mix, which we will a little bit later, you can see I have a secondary pan, and then I'll change oil for those. And then the small ones in the center.
You want to turn the heat back up?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I've got this warming too, even the oil's warm, so I can swap pots quickly with fresh oil. All right, so you can see I turn the pan. That's where we started off. I kind of try to stay in a circle, that way the first one in, by the time you get all the way through to the end of the pan, that starts to be browning. That's the next one in. I like them. They're pretty good. They got a nice crunch to them, to the
Nice crunch.
outside.
Very
Nice.
nice crunch.
Good crunch on the outside. Of course, on Zoom and on TV, everything tastes great. So I'm sure it's the finest latke ever made. But great flavor.
Okay.
And
So-
I think if somebody would want less potatoes, they would enjoy it.
Question, can you use grape seed oil?
Sure.
Wait.
Grapeseed will work. And again, you just got to be careful with what they call the smoking point. Again, you know, when you're frying oils with some items, you're looking at keeping it at temperatures of about 300, 350, 375 for sometimes a half of an hour, 45 minutes, an hour total. So you just want to make sure that oil will be able to stabilize and hold that temperature without getting too hot, which would get into the smoke range. But yeah,
And
grapeseed will work.
Terry's asking if you double or triple the recipe, you would just take all the ingredients and double and triple them.
Yeah,
But would you do it as one batch if you doubled or triple it, or you do separate batches?
you could, and actually it may be easier to do it in separate batches and then fry like as we're doing tonight, fry them as you go. You can make one real big batch, but if you can't fry them fast enough or get to them, you don't want your mixes starting to turn brown. So it might be a great idea to make a mix like we're doing here, fry, and then when I'm going to do this, when we get this last batch on, we're going to start putting together the second one and then the third one. And I think that'll make it easier for browning purposes, to make sure your mix doesn't brown. But yeah, I would say go ahead and double or triple the ingredients. The only thing I would double check would be, of course, fry the one pancake like we did. Actually, I did three. I'll fry one off, double check. You may need a little bit extra matzo meal. Or if you're using breadcrumbs. In the booklet we talked about pan-crow breadcrumbs, soy flour, whole wheat flour, you name it. You can use just a little bit more of that, to make it work. But the rest of the items, the weight, just double or triple. Okay, so we're getting a nice crisp on these.
Want some tongs?
Yeah, so we're looking fine. There we go. All right. We'll give those about another minute or so. And typically, if this dinner, the first ones that I did, I would undercook slightly, as I talked about earlier. Then it's placed on a pan in the oven, 200, 250 degrees. Just set them in there and keep them nice and warm until service. Small, this was done.
We put them in the oven right on the paper towel, right?
Yes, at 200, yeah, it can't catch fire, it's too low.
So this is just a baking sheet with a rack, keep them from getting soggy and,
Now, if we were doing quite a few, I would actually, I don't want to make a mess, but you could take them and then stack them this way. You know, if we were doing quite a few, eventually you can stack them like that
uh-huh,
on top of a grate, and that will keep them up out of the oil.
after they sit a bit, you put them on the paper towel first though?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And then you notice I leave some space in between. You don't want to stack them one right on top of the other.
You're talking about here or?
Here,
Yeah, okay.
because that would certainly help trap steam. And if you trap some of the steam, they will start to get less crispy on the outside. Doesn't want to go. There we go. Do that a minute real quick and finish that up, and then we'll start for a second. And again, Linda was nice. She said this nice skimmer. So if you have one, you could use it, take advantage of it, and we can skim some of the extra crispy potato pieces out. That'll make it easier on our pan, easier on the oil. I thought I'd heard a question earlier. You can use a non-stick pan with a little less oil. You want to put a little bit of oil in it. You need a little bit. You don't need too much. And what I mean is probably like a tablespoon is something you could put in there and then utilize a non-stick pan. It'll work.
Ann is recommending gluten-free Bob Mills all-purpose flour as a substitute. She didn't care for rice flour when she made it, that it didn't bind as well. I personally have found that I can use just potato starch, and that works pretty well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I think everybody has some in their closet left over from Passover. I don't think everybody uses all of their potato starch, you know. Okay, so we're going to finish this real quick. So it's looking pretty hot, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. But again, as we fill the pan, the temperature is going to drop. So what am I doing?
So in the recipes, it said 2 tablespoons, and that would give about 24 latkes, but you're really using, I don't know, 3.5 or 4 tablespoons of mix?
Yeah, I'm a little bit generous on a couple things too. You can stick with the 2 tablespoons. I certainly wanted to make them a little bigger, so it's a little bit faster also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could make 60 plus latkes, but pretty much the demo would be just pretty much watch me fry the whole time. So I'm making them a little bit bigger than normal. But actually, these are good dinner size. But also, Linda's got one, a nice one that's a little bit smaller that you can use. And you notice they stay a lot more even in size. And these would make kind of more appetizer size latkes.
Dora's getting hungry. Brenda said that you can use gluten-free matzo meal. That I haven't seen. I get gluten-free matzo, but I've never seen gluten-free matzo meal.
If you can get it, yeah, grab it. It comes out just like near Passover, and they don't have a lot of quantity of it.
I mean, I do have gluten-free matzo, which I could just put in a food processor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make matzo meal, sure.
I'm in Turnberry, Marina Tower. Anyone who wants to come and get a latke is welcome. Apartment 19B. See. They do, they look beautiful. Dora thinks they look amazing. They're gorgeous. They look like you want to eat them.
Again, and it's a great family project. You know, you can get people involved, you know, people that don't normally cook. You can give a bowl to this one and say, do me a favor here, grate this, grate that, you know. If you don't get any help, thank God for a processor, get a power grater there. But yeah, it's a great project you can do with family. And a grater, you know, get them done, especially something with kids. It's a fun item to do, you know. And then, of course, enjoy them afterwards, you know, along with their.
Betty Joy, absolutely. Betty Joy wants to know if I have applesauce and sour cream. Both of them are in the fridge.
Okay.
You should all know that I'm getting hungry looking at them too.
Besides, you get to smell
Maybe a
it,
little bit
so
more
it
color.
makes it more appealing even.
That makes me even hungrier.
Smell vision. Smell vision. That's next. Okay, so this is kind of done. Now we're gonna go on to our next mix. Anybody have any questions? Anything? You're not sure about what we did or why we did it?
So you squeezed the potatoes by themselves. You didn't mix it all up together and then squeeze.
No. I'm not going to get a lot of inherent moisture from the cauliflower and from the turnip. The onion, maybe. I could have done the onion along with the potato. But again, I was looking at it. I kind of hit it, you know, by eye, and they didn't seem very wet to me. But of course, you certainly can squeeze the moisture, the water, the excess water out of your onions. So you can mix your onions and the potatoes together. And
Now, if you don't have really strong hands, the way Mark does, if you lay the towel out and you make a longer, thinner pile of potatoes and then twist it the long way instead of trying to make it all in a ball, because there's no way I know I could squeeze the way he was doing it. But put it in the towel, twist it the way when we were kids, we used to twist up a towel to hit somebody with. Well, that's what my towel looks like. Okay. Right, Terry, right. We squeeze the liquid out of the potatoes and the onions before mixing the other ingredients. Absolutely. But he did the potatoes after all the other ingredients were done, so they didn't brown. I think anybody who wants to unmute themselves to talk, I think it's all right now. Rich, is it okay now?
Yes, while Mark is cleaning up and getting things, this is schmooze time as things are happening, and he's getting ready for batch 2.
I wanted Adrian, how are your latkes coming out?
Well, they look beautiful, but I only got 17 of them, but they are good size.
Well, that's about what Mark got.
Okay, because I use the scooper. I use the ice cream scooper.
Yeah, I have a small ice cream scoop and then you would get 24. A small
Yeah.
scoop is
But
about
they
2
look
tablespoons,
beautiful.
yeah.
I don't
Pick
know
one
how
up and
to
show
they
it.
look good.
Show us.
Oh,
Okay.
wonder if I can show you. How can I show you?
Just lift up the pan.
I'm
Tilt it.
trying. Hold on.
Just
Oh.
take one. That looks nice.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Wait,
Did you
I
taste
can't
it?
do this. No, not yet. I'm afraid to.
You're
I'll wake Mark up and have him taste it. No, I'm still
Yes,
cooking. I have to finish. Wait, oh, they're starting to get too
Bring
dark.
some over tomorrow. I'll taste them for you.
Okay.
So
I
if you
will.
want to keep them for tomorrow,
Mm,
let them cool off a little bit and then freeze them flat and
Yeah.
reheat them a 400-degree oven for about, I think it's 15 minutes altogether.
Yeah, 15, 20,
Right.
sure.
They look beautiful. They really look good.
I say before you go to Ed's, I'm closer. You can stop here too.
No, gotta make
And
it.
I'm on the way to Edda's.
There we
Gotta
go.
make it early. It's like it's the Allison. Oh, that was good.
Everybody's going to Edda's.
My kitchen
so-
is a disaster.
Mark's back to grating cauliflower. But you can buy, they call them, I forget what you call it. I put it on the list. You can buy
The rice.
riced cauliflower,
It's
they
already
call it.
right.
Oh,
And
Can
it's
you my
just,
tray?
it's just in little pieces. And
they really look pretty.
Yeah, they came out nice, huh?
yeah.
But-
Yeah, Steam Fresh makes the
One of them got too dark.
cauliflower. It looks like a potato, rice potato or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most of, a lot of these ingredients you can buy. The term we use in our business is called speed scratch. Yeah, Linda enjoyed that one. Basically, someone else, you buy the ingredients pre-cut, pre-peeled, of course, cleaned, everything like that. And then you just put it together at the last minute in your kitchen. So hence the term, be a little bit of scratch
But
involved there.
speed scratch.
Speed scratch comes
Yeah.
from, you can buy a lot of these things done, in
Okay.
advance.
Mark,
Even the potatoes. Some
Mark?
people had some success with the shredded potatoes, yes.
yeah, did they taste the same when they're pre-cut and everything? Then the way you're making it, everything is fresh and it tastes moist.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a slight difference, but it's not gonna be very discernible. Shouldn't be discernible at all.
Oh, okay.
So,
They're delicious.
yes, so do the onions a different way, either food processor or chopper, okay?
Okay, all right. Lou's got a beautiful chopper we're gonna use. What is it, sign? Okay.
So I have this toy called the Vidalia Chop Wizard. And I got it at Bed Bath & Beyond, and I've actually owned 2 or 3 of them.
Okay, it's got a little catch here at the bottom. So actually I made small slice out of the onion,
Yeah, that's,
place it there.
hit it.
You gotta hit it, huh? Okay. And just drop them down, minces them up nicely.
Give it a whack.
Okay. I try not to, usually that's how it breaks stuff.
But,
Like, wow,
but
it was too bad.
I have one of those, but you can use it for any vegetable.
Yeah, and
Not only,
there's,
not only onion, because it says Vidalia onion, but you can use it for,
Okay, all right, here we go. All right,
it has 2 size holes on it.
all right, it slides out.
Yeah.
Okay,
The top comes off too.
okay.
Just,
So.
Yeah.
With a core, so there. Okay, so we're gonna add this. So basically right now, we're just working on this second batch. This is the cauliflower potato latkes. Second batch. Okay.
I got this. You want to do the
Also
potato
kinda-
in the food processor? Rich would like to see it in the food processor.
Here. We can do that. Let me pull it out a little bit. I plugged it in.
Okay.
Slides.
Gotta come out.
Okay,
Okay.
so,
Let's, can we move it like over here a little bit?
sure.
Just because then, Okay. All right. So, but you're gonna put your eggs and stuff in first?
Yeah, I'm gonna crack the eggs real fast. Let's see where I put this. I think this one also calls for 3
Yeah.
as well. Okay.
One-handed egg cracking technique.
One slice, then what you do is take you put it in your hand thumb, and then what you do is you open them, and then you move your fingers sideways. You kind of open up your grip between your fingers, and it
We
pops
have to
out.
watch that one more time.
Okay, nice and
All
slow.
right.
Couple of cracks, thumb, rest of your fingers, your 4. Want to go nice and slow, and like that. There we go. And again, I got a small shell. I'll wipe this off. Okay. And then we'll whip this in. And for latkes, and we were talking about different flours. You can also use panko breadcrumbs if you have those. Those are those real coarse white Japanese breadcrumbs.
I have gluten-free panko breadcrumbs.
Wow. Okay. Even better for the gluten-free
You
people.
want them?
No, I'm just saying these are just some alternatives. Also, anybody ever made any fish cakes, anything of that nature? They use cracker crumbs, which is something I've seen occasionally used for latkes. Okay, so this is done. Get all this good stuff out. So we'll make too much of a mess. Okay, I'm gonna pour this in.
With the greens?
Mm-hmm. Salt, pepper. You see it's out of time coming out. Okay. The black pepper you can see, so it's easier to gauge. And I use a little black with it. Typically there's something, the lighter the color, I use white pepper a little bit. Okay. Okay, so then again, we're gonna use some more of these nice greens.
This kitchen was very clean and neat when we started.
It was past tense. And like the last ones, kind of pinch it together in a nice small pile on the board. Kind of hold it together. And then spin it a little
You
bit.
just put the stems right in there?
Yeah,
I
there
always
wasn't.
cut the leaves off the stem.
They're so minuscule, like something like this. Yeah, that's so close that not even negligible as far as that one. Yeah, I wouldn't put any big wood pieces like that.
Okay.
But yeah, some of the smaller ones are fine. It's got good flavor. And if you want, some people like to take with some parsley, is you can take it and also put that in your a towel and rinse that in the kitchen sink with some cold water, and you can remove the chlorophyll that's inside of green vegetables, and that will rinse out completely.
Just to answer some questions, he's gonna put
Sure.
potato in this,
I'm gonna do
yeah,
it here last.
and which he will squeeze out. But he just puts the potato in last, so it doesn't have as much time to turn brown. The grating blade on the processor. Definitely. Okay, so Anne is suggesting curry, sweet potato, sage, butternut squash, zucchini, parmesan. Let's see, and cranberry for dessert. Okay.
So get these ready for the processor. So I'm gonna quarter them so they go down the chute easy.
Yeah.
So give them a quick quarter. Then
Food process on the right.
chop.
No, food process.
Okay. Certainly make short work of it. Pieces of left, some to the side. Good.
Okay, you have a clean, here's a clean towel.
Okay. And you see, yeah, it does a beautiful job, you know. The processor does a beautiful job. And that's 2 medium to large potatoes that we have.
So the other technique would be to spread it out like this.
Mm-hmm.
Show
And you
them,
could put
show
it
it to them that way, you know.
Yeah, I did that, yeah.
Wrapped up
Yeah.
and,
You know, yeah,
because you don't need the same hand strength to do it this way
you know.
Right.
as you do the way he did it before. I mean, I actually twist it, but
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and then you can, I'm gonna bring it over the sink, so I get some water.
What a mess it makes. Oh, my hands.
And again, you could use a colander, you know, when you give it a twist.
yeah, it gets nice and dry this way.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oops, just gonna let it fall out the ends.
We should put it in.
Okay. And again, this is just let it sit. This one certainly doesn't have as much liquid as the last batch. Completely much drier.
Does, you think it's because it was not grated that it makes a difference?
Probably. It probably still has a little moisture left into it. It may not have come out, especially when you grate, you push against the vegetable against the grater. Okay, ready to go.
It's a good workout too.
Yeah, so we're gonna slowly,
Well, if I was doing it in this kitchen myself, I would do everything down by the sink. So
but it would be harder to film.
it would be hard to film down there, that's all.
It does make a rather big mess. Big mess.
Okay, so those are on the top. I'm gonna grab my spoon.
You can have another one.
Okay,
I have a collection.
okay. All right, well, I don't wanna make everything dirty.
That's all
Okay,
right.
so-
That's what dishwashers are for.
So again, we're gonna get this egg on there. Coated. And again, the protein and the albumin in the egg certainly prevent the browning. And again, this is gonna be a little bit closer to the traditional old potato. But again, I think the cauliflower definitely gives a nice dimension, nice flavor, texture change.
Did you put your mutts meal in?
No, that's next. That's next. You read my mind. There was about a 1/4 cup and then a little bit more. But yeah, we've
Exact measuring.
we've tested these. Linda tested them. They all work. They have been tested.
The important thing, what Mark was saying when, about what the consistency should be like. And so then you adjust, because every potato is different and every onion is different.
And you can look at it, you know, it's kind of coming together. It sticks. Remember the first one I showed you? It kind of sticks. You could, you know, just give it a little bit of a squeeze. You know, does it stick together in a shape? Does it hold its own shape? If not, of course, it's a little too thin. If it's too much, then of course we're going to add a little bit more liquid. You get a few eggs into it. I missed a piece of cauliflower. But if not, that went out later. And you can always put a little bit of moisture into it, even a couple of drops of water if you need to. All right, so I'm gonna rinse off. We'll start that. Okay, so
We need some more oil.
Yeah.
Do we want to dump that out?
Yeah, do you have a container and I'll give it a quick wipe and we can just use the one pan?
What do I have?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it over here on this side.
You want to just do it in the sink?
Oh, sure. I can do that. Okay. So what we're gonna do is dump our oil, change it. We're doing the sink where it's nice and safe. So very carefully. And then of course we're gonna wipe everything out. And this is certainly going to make cleanup a little bit easier later. We'll have to do it. So our pan is still nice and hot. So it's back here. We'll increase the fire. And I had some oil in this pan kind of preheating a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pour that in there. Some fresh oil, just getting warm. I need just a little bit more, so I'm going to crank it up. And then we're using some good old peanut oil.
Show the label.
Okay. And basically, while we got a minute or so, the kind of the different stages of frying. If you go from smallest to biggest, the first stage of frying is stir fry. That's used, of course, with mostly Asian cuisines. That's when all of your materials, your proteins, your vegetables, starches are cut very, very, very small. It's cooked very, very quickly, super high heat, and just, minimal amounts of fat in a pan. The next one in succession is saute, which is saute. This is a saute pan. It's got a curved edge, a little bit of fat on the bottom, high heat. Food cooked, cut a little bit larger than the stir fry, but not quite very large. And then that's cooked quickly. That's the term to saute. Term actually means jump. So you're supposed to be actively kind of working your food as you're cooking it. So going in succession, the next one is saute. After saute, you have pan fry. Basically, it's what we're doing with these latkes. Pan fry is you fry something and your oil comes up between 1/3 and 1/2 of the product, comes up to the side. So basically you cook it on one side like we're doing with the latkes, brown them, flip them over, finish on the other side. That's pan fry. And then of course, last but not least is deep fry. And that's typically when your food is submerged.
And we're going to do one of those.
Yeah, and we got one out, and you can continuously, you'll see sometimes on TV, people will scoop with a spoon fats and things from a saute pan. They'll tilt it and scoop it on top. And basically what they're trying to do is get it to cook both ways from the top down with the oil that it looks like they're basting, but basically it's the oil and the flavor, and they're trying to pick up the speed in cooking. So you'll see that a lot of times on TV, on cooking shows, you'll see them spoon products on there. So those are basically your stages of fry. So everything kind of falls into one of those categories. Okay, so this is pretty hot. We're going to take a small amount. We're going to check, make sure, see if this is going to, if it's hot enough for us or not. Okay, so literally take a small amount. Okay, so it's sizzling. So that's telling us we're ready to go. Okay. And I think I use 60 plastic. Another plastic. What I'm gonna do is I'll scoop this out. Let me get rid of it. There we go. Okay, so, and then again, we'll take our mix. Oops, I got another one here. I missed two. Missed two. Okay, so take our mix. It's okay. Remember, we're gonna, now I know these are gonna work, because we have pre-tried these before. So I definitely know they're gonna work. Certainly before we're gonna do this demo, we've tried them. So I'm gonna go ahead and commit knowing that these are gonna stick together. But typically when you're making a new batch, as I said earlier, take a small one or two, put it in the pan, cook it the entire way. Cook it the entire way. And then just make sure that's the flavor profile you like. Everything's exactly the way you like it.
Can you get that for me?
Absolutely. Okay.
Cooking a little bit slower, maybe?
A little bit. Fresh oil's probably not quite as hot as the last batch, and that's okay. So if you notice, I moved it around and made sure it was centered on my burner, so I'm getting good heat. And I do start to see a little bit of brown on these corners, so that's telling me it's real close. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit this first one. Okay, slide it over carefully, flip it over. Okay. And then what you can do is just push down a little bit on it. And this has plenty of oil on it because we're frying with it, so you don't have to worry about it sticking. Okay. Yeah, that one slid off. Same with this way. Push it down a little bit.
It's okay to flip it more than once.
Sure. Absolutely. Again, you know, some burners are hotter than others. If you have gas, sometimes that recovers faster, you know, than electric. Or if you have induction, so sometimes the different burners, as far as how much the, you know, the heat conductivity changes. So yeah, you're not always going to get them perfect.
What? We have some chats here. Let me see what people have to say.
And we're coming about 8:45.
So the question is, the potato comes out in strips with the processor and is more mushy when grated by hand. Will that change the consistency of the latke?
No, not very much. No.
It got a lot of water though that way. Because I did it by hand instead of my processor. Next time I'll use my processor because it's a good workout, but it gets a little hard. When I squeezed it in the
So
towel,
Ann sent a cranberry dessert latke recipe.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and again, too, maybe the process of when you're hand grading, you literally have to push against it. So that could be just a process of maybe it's just forcing more water out.
Right.
But again, these are coming together nicely. A few drops of water isn't going to make any large difference, you know. And again, there's some eggs in there to help bind it together. The potato starch, and then of course the.
Andrea said bye to everybody.
Okay, tell them to say bye. So like them a little crunchier. You can leave them in a little bit longer, get the outside nice crunchier feature. Almost has like a hash brown, you know, kind of a feature to it. And also too, what you can do is add as they're coming off, You can add them on, do this at a faster continuum. And you can see I haven't really been timing it, but with the saran wrap pushed down on top, you can see I don't see any enzymatic browning at all.
No browning at all.
Wow.
You want to throw one in the deep fryer?
It's awesome.
Sure. Okay.
I have this little mini deep fryer,
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
which I have the oil heating. Somehow, most of my small appliances are Cuisinart, and it's not that I go looking for them, but they seem to make really apartment size. It hangs on the top if you want. So he made a ball. He's putting it in really gently.
Yeah.
Right.
Almost kind of like a meatball presentation to it.
I was thinking of a donut.
He's out of the way.
Okay, Brenda said she uses the small holes on the grater.
Uh-huh.
If you, she said, does that change the? Let's see.
I
No,
used
not
medium.
too any large difference. If you like them, some people like them chunkier, some like them finer. So if you like it like a much finer pancake, certainly you can use the smaller holes.
I think you might not, you won't get the, I don't know what you, but the things sticking out that give it that really rustic look.
Yeah, exactly. That's the term, the rustic. When you see these like this one, you see the little pieces coming out. That's the one people usually associate with, you know, when they see a latke. Okay. All right, we'll let that cool off for a minute. That looks pretty good.
I'm halfway between a latke and a hush puppy.
So any other questions? We got a couple of these left, and then we're gonna go to the old fashioned mix and get them fried. Yeah, that thing was pretty good.
For the floor.
And so then we're just gonna give this a quick rinse for the last batch.
So as long as the potatoes are sitting in water, covered with water, the way they are here, they won't brown either, so.
Yeah, we're not gonna go anywhere. Just the parts that just gotta make sure they stay under the water, and then you can change the
Yeah,
water.
there's one little piece of it sticking up above the water, and that's turning brown. How about making this one gluten-free?
Okay.
What's your poison? Potato starch, panko?
I like potato. Do you want to try potato or
Well, potato starch, panko, whatever you want.
I can make them work either way? Try panko then,
Okay.
since that may not be something everybody normally does.
Into the pantry. And gluten-free panko. There they are. We don't have very much left. I don't know if it's enough.
Yeah, I think it'll be close.
Okay,
It'll be real
you can always
close.
add a little potato starch if you need it.
It'll be close. Okay. All right. So, same here, couple of quick eggs. We'll break them. I got these last two frying up.
You want a third egg? No, okay.
Got it. Okay. Go ahead again.
So how often do you get shell in it, doing it that way?
Actually, not very
Not
often.
very often. Okay.
Certainly the reason why I do them on the side and then pour them. If I do get any shells, and I do get them once in a while, it happens. It'll settle to the bottom of this bowl, and as I'm pouring it into the larger bowl, I'll see it, and then I just stop. And they usually are always at the very, very bottom, at the very end. So if you just slow down as you're pouring the egg at the very end, if there's any shells in there, you're gonna find them very quickly.
Interesting.
You'll find them. Okay, so we got our eggs done. Set that to the side. Got a potato. How these look? Okay, so these a little bit more color.
Back to normal.
Aren't we doing onion?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure are. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so back in the water. I have an onion here. Want me to run them through the, or should I cut them the other way?
Are you using the food processor? Or?
Yeah.
Sure. Use the food. He's going to use the food processor for the onion also.
Okay.
Take mine out.
I'm trying to hurry up the time.
Okay. Kind of a small food processor, then. This is the speed technique. So he just put the chives right into the same mix with everything else. But that's not enough potato, right? You need more potato?
I'm making kind of a shorter batch because don't want to run too far at a time.
But you did put the 3 eggs in.
No, they're here.
Oh, okay.
They're here. Okay.
We're not gonna get the liquid
No,
out
I'm gonna try this one without the.
without
squeezing.
taking the liquid out,
Yeah,
okay?
we didn't do much difference with the first batch, so we'll see. This has a different slice on it, so this looks good. Okay.
So how much, did you use equal amounts of onion and potato?
No, I did one large onion to 2 large potatoes.
Oh, okay.
1 to 2.
I thought it was only 1 potato.
Yeah.
Okay.
1 to 2. Okay. Then let me get some eggs on top so it keeps my potatoes from turning brown.
Okay.
Okay, and just give it a quick mix so everything's coated. Now this has more of a sliver.
What happened to
I'm not sure.
the blade was in the wrong direction?
Could have been. All right,
Yeah.
we'll run with it. I think we can make these work.
Actually,
Okay. And then
nah, I don't think so. I would put them back through.
processor?
Yeah, the blade was the wrong side up. It has to be so you feel the,
Okay,
let me see,
I think it's good there now. Okay,
one
it's
second.
gonna be a little messy.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, all
Okay.
right, we'll run it back through.
Yeah. A little different with all the mush, but I actually did this once myself, making latkes.
Okay, so. Okay, so. Let's back inside. That's definitely more shredded. This one also gave me some more water. So I'm gonna squeeze the whole. This one definitely gave me a little bit more water. So I'm gonna definitely gotta
You've got
squeeze
some
this one.
more towels over there.
Yeah, I'm gonna squeeze them.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong there. Okay. My battery started to run down, so I'm plugged in, so I'm not.
Okay, well, these are the last quick batch now, so. Okay. Fix this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is a little bit dry. I'm just gonna add one more egg to it. Careful. Okay, I'm gonna add one more egg to it, season them up. Oh, don't wanna make a mistake. Okay.
The basic lesson in this is that latkes are very forgiving.
Yeah, potatoes. They absolutely are. They absolutely are. Okay,
Some salt and pepper.
salt and pepper's next, and then we're gonna start cooking them off. And then salt. Okay. And a little bit of pepper. I'll use white.
Yeah, I used the white.
And a little white. Okay.
Yes.
We actually needed a third person here.
To clean up.
No, he needed a sous chef. You know, So-
Shut back off on me.
we either needed someone to,
The chop.
yeah, just give me a second.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
This shouldn't matter.
Okay, I touched the center, it's in
Yeah.
there.
That
Okay,
one, is that it?
yeah.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Equipment malfunction.
Okay. So these are gonna be the last ones of those, so I'll skim them a little
You didn't
bit.
put the panko in it, did you?
Yeah, I did pour a little bit
Oh,
in,
okay.
but
You-
you could use a little bit more. I did put some. I didn't want them too
Put it all
over dry.
No?
I don't want
Is
them
that
to be too dry.
Okay.
It's pretty good. And again, I'm just going by textures, see if it's holding together. Okay. Okay.
You need more oil?
I got, I'm gonna put a touch in there, for some of the end. Lost the heat.
What's tomorrow? Thursday.
To the side.
He's cooking on electric.
Yeah, she can hold in nicely with the panko.
They look good.
Should we stick the others in the oven?
Yeah, well, we're almost finished, so. But yeah, normally they would sit in the oven. If we were gonna serve this, dinner, something we were working on, yeah, they would go inside the oven.
Stuff.
Maybe you put a fresh paper towel across there,
Yeah.
just so I can tell which is which.
Mhm.
Leaving my kitchen.
Uh,
Now, this kitchen will not get cleaned till tomorrow. I have no problem going to bed with a dirty kitchen.
It's gonna take all night.
I could never do that.
I can. I
Oh,
have this great blocking system. I have permanent blinders.
that's awesome. I wish I did.
I wish I could be like that.
Me too.
You know, I'll wake up really early in the morning and I'll have energy, and
Yeah.
it'll take half the time that it would take to do it at night.
You're
You're
right.
right, but you're right. If you can do it, it's wonderful. Me, I'd be going to sleep worrying what my kitchen looks like.
I go to bed, my kitchen is spotless.
Me too.
I know you.
See, the problem is putting this on here.
Okay.
It,
Okay.
it can turn it off.
Okay.
It confuses the stove.
Okay, these are the last of them.
Hmm. Needed a little potato starch.
Yeah, these don't quite seem to hold as nicely. So definitely a little bit of starch. Or potato, yeah.
When I'm making something gluten-free, I usually do add potato starch.
Yeah.
The potato
They're coming
starch hold
together,
it
they look
better.
good, they're getting a nice crispy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just adding a little potato starch, yeah.
Yeah, these last couple could certainly use it.
We want a report from everybody, how their latkes come out this year.
Yeah, shut it off. Yeah. Okay.
You don't have to get the last ones
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mark.
Okay.
Any last questions? Anybody? You can turn your,
Well,
you can unmute yourselves.
it was very
Anyone have any
interesting.
last questions for Mark?
Okay, but yeah, please, we certainly hope, everybody's learned a little something tonight with us. Thank you for joining. Also, please, anytime, of course, hot oil, please be very careful. One quick thing, God forbid, a lot of people, mistakes happen. If a fire should start, God forbid, never move the pan. Some people grab the pan, they try to go toward the sink. That will spread the fire. Best thing to do is take a lid, complete lid, go straight to the pan, cover, put a lid on it, shut the burner off, the fire, turn it off, put on a lid and leave it alone. And the fire will burn itself out and you won't get any subsequent damage in your home. So God
Good to
forbid it should
know.
happen, just get a lid, make sure you have a lid that fits the pot you're working on, the frying pan. And should, God forbid it should happen, put the lid on top, leave it sit, shut the fire off, and you're never gonna have any problems. And of course, as always, be careful cooking with oil, hot oil. I've certainly got a few burns in my lifetime. I'm sure everybody has that's ever done any latkes. But anybody have any last questions?
No, but a suggestion, don't put the oil into the sink. Don't put it down the sink.
No.
No, we poured it into a pan in the sink. We didn't actually pour it down the drain. There's a pan there. I'll show it to you.
I know.
It's on the side.
No,
I just did that so it wouldn't splash on the counter.
Yeah,
But
unless you
yeah,
want to
never
give
pour
the
oil
plumber a
on
lot of
something
work.
sink.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, and a lot of money
Yes.
too. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so
Well,
much,
thank you,
Mark.
everybody.
Really neat.
On behalf of everybody, thank you very much. Everybody have a great, happy Hanukkah.
You too.
Safe, healthy, happy Hanukkah. And again, as I said last time, I have some more suggestions. Please let us know, let Linda know. And we'll certainly set some more of these up as these holidays start coming by and doing some regular cooking. So
Okay,
let us know.
Thank you.
We'll set that up.
And the synagogue has a lot of things going on for Hanukkah. If you didn't see your emails, you can go to the homepage, just
Every day.
vtbrc.org. It has a new design where all of the events have a box that links to other things. Bye, Mitch.
And thank you, Linda.
Okay.
Bye.
Take care.
everybody.
Happy
Happy
Hanukkah to
Hanukkah.
everyone.
Take
Take
Happy
care.
Hanukkah.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Rich, thank you so much for technology.
Rich says you're welcome. He had to run out with the dog.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Slave to the dog.
That's right. The dog needs to go and she lets you know. So, all right, I'm gonna
Take
shut
care,
everything
Judy.
down
Thank
from
you.
the other room. Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night.